All right, and what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of BB Nation Radio right here on Backwoods Veterans Media. So thank you all for tuning in tonight as we are live once again from the Cowboy Technology Studios here at the end of the Oregon Trail here in beautiful Oregon City, Oregon. As always, I'm your host, J-Dub, and with me are my co-hosts. First off, Miss Mariah, a.k.a. the Sexy Girlfriend.
Oh, sexy girlfriend!
And as always, coming from remote, our good buddy, my fellow U.S. Army veteran and our resident outdoor expert, the Dapper Sapper himself, Mr. Jonathan Toll.
Here's Johnny.
The show can wait. I need to look pretty.
And then the man, the myth, the legend from behind the scenes, our producer, the high-tech redneck himself, good old Josh.
The high-tech redneck.
Who is actually funny because he's kind of taking a back seat this week because running things behind the scenes, at least running the board and whatnot, is our outstanding intern, good old Randy Ray.
Fuck it up, Randy.
That's right. Don't mess it up. So anyhow, please remember to be sure to hit the subscribe button here on the channel, as well as hit that little bell so that way you know to tune in whenever we upload new content here to our YouTube channel, as well as when we go live with new content or a new episode here of BB Nation Radio. Quick shout out right quick to our friends and sponsors over at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com for all your shooting, reloading, and tactical needs, whatever it may be, whether shopping in store up out of Sandy, Oregon, or shopping online. Be sure to hit up Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. Remember to be sure to check out our homepage at backwoodsvets.com and be sure to check out our Facebook page as well. Give us a like and a share over there by searching us at facebook.com/backwoodsvets. So with that being said, we had only one event on the calendar, which has now come to pass. That was last night. That was our Guitars for Stars rifle raffle that we did. I want to thank everybody who contributed to that for making that a huge success. And congratulations to the winner of that awesome M5E1 AR-10 platform 308, donated by Aero Precision, the optic provided by Sig Sauer, and so many others that contributed to getting that thing put together and actually done raffled off. So we're able to
so jealous.
I know, right?
I think we all are,
to say the least. So, but it's going to a good home and somebody that I know is going to really appreciate it, and we helped raise a lot of money for our friends over at the Fallen Outdoors.
I do have to put one point out there with it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The women have the luck with the raffles.
Yeah, that they do.
Because last year, a lady won it. This year, another lady won it.
Yeah, that's very true. So, but you know what? The winner's already been contacted, and everything's already in the works. So,
congratulations to her.
yes, indeed. So, was a great time with that, doing the broadcast live from our sponsors up at Eric's Armory, hanging out with those guys once again yesterday evening. So, before we get on with it, want to do our normal check-ins that we got going on. So, Ray, High Tech, who do we got checking in so far?
Well, very first, I have to say, for the first time ever, is Miss Stephanie Sweet checking in, saying hi. We got, the Harambe Keeper kind of checked in and then retracted his message, so I'm not going to mention him now. We got Matt Crosby down there out of Florida.
Right.
He's our new Florida man down there, so... Richie the Redneck Pimp, he's here, saying Osayo. Katrina Stanley from over there in Pride, Kentucky. Dean Cerny's checked in with us. Oh, there now Mickey has something to say, and he says the Harambe Keeper loves you all.
Aww.
And we've got Queen DP, who's a road warrior this weekend.
Yes, she is.
Coming back up through Missoula and through Spokane and heading on back home. So
you know that, right?
Where's she driving from? Where'd she go visit?
She had to do a long weekend for work and do a little delivery action there to one of the CHI birds.
Handling a very large package.
She is a professional package handler. So
Exactly.
yeah, let's see. Kicking on down. Oh, we got the little short shit Jade Lopez checked in here with us. Out of Colorado.
Combat?
The Combat Wombat. That's right. That's right.
She will forever be the Combat Wombat.
That's
Sorry.
right. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
She went to Salmon, Idaho is where she went to. Oh, Taco Maker just checked in. Glad to see her jumping in there, Miss Inga Williams.
Taco.
Nom, 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 nom. So, anyhow, so with that being said, Thank you guys, and we appreciate you all tuning in. Please remember to go ahead and share the show tonight. Need to try and get our viewership up, guys. Come on. We need some fresh blood in here too, on top of all you guys. So, anyhow, with that being said,
I think half our viewers would like somebody on top of them.
One would think.
To be fair,
Just saying.
so,
To be fair, share the show out.
Yes,
gals.
exactly. So, anyhow, with that being said, go ahead and start making our way around the room. So, John, how's things over your neck of the woods, brother?
Well, as many of you know, I was not on the show last week. Last couple of weeks have been fairly stressful and kind of shitty, but also in a good way. They've been good shitty too. It's just been nonstop between work and, for those of you that don't know, we've been suffering Black Lives Matter and Antifa protests one after another in Prineville. They're trying to stir crap up in my town. It hasn't worked because they tried again today and only five protesters showed up and nobody paid attention to them, so they left. It was fantastic.
Oh no!
Got their feelers hurt, so hopefully they're done because we don't care anymore, and they mind over matter. We don't mind. They don't matter. So that, and had my nephew's birthday today. I feel fairly old, I guess. Not as old as you, Grandpa Dubs, because I don't have a grandchild. But yeah, my nephew turned 13 today, so I got to spend the afternoon out shooting guns and riding razors and motorcycles. It was pretty cool.
Right on, man. Right on.
Get to spend some good quality time with the family. My dad and my stepmom and my sister and her husband and my nephew and my niece. Yeah.
Very cool, brother. Very cool. So,
Yeah, that's about all I got.
all right, Mariah, what's going on with you? What's new? What's happening?
Isn't her name Mammy Raya?
Yeah, Mammy Raya.
May May?
May
May, there you go. May instead of the mammy. Had a really long work week, so that was kind of crazy. Didn't see J-Dub a whole lot during the week because my hours
Lucky you.
Which one?
I said him or me. But, you know, sometimes you get long weeks, and that's okay because I got to see Miss Kelly and Ethan.
Yes.
And got to meet baby Alex. And first thing he does to me, Kelly gets done nursing him, burps him, hands him over to me so I can hold him.
Hey,
I'm holding
puke time.
him. He looks straight at my face, turns his head, and then pukes all down my side.
Of course, marking his territory.
I'm like, thanks. So I go to hand him to Justin. And Justin's like, he's going to puke on me. I was like, really? But yes, he is very cute. So I was really happy to see them again.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I spent very, very little time with my horse. So, unfortunately. But, so not a very fun week for me, but it was good to see the kids.
Absolutely. High Tech. What's up, brother?
You know, it was kind of a long work week as far as that part went, but
Right.
I actually got to head out towards the coast there yesterday.
Yeah.
So my daughter and I went ahead and took the opportunity to head out towards the coast. You know, it was nice all damn week long, and we head out to the coast, and what's it do? It got very moist.
Dude, that seems to be the trend lately. Like, all work week long, beautiful weather, warm weather. Weekend comes around, it's like, yes, weekend's finally here. Let's go enjoy the outdoors. And then the weather goes,
You didn't say the magic word.
It's down rain, engaged.
Yeah, so we actually stopped in several different places. We went to Garibaldi, we went to Manzanita, Cannon Beach. We drove into Seaside, immediately drove out of Seaside because it was packed. Although, did you know in Seaside that they've got this new big jungle gym sort of thing? Mm-hmm. It's like a cable rope deal, multiple levels on this building.
Yeah.
And so you can go out around outside and go through this net area and all that, but you're tethered off to a cable, so you're sliding with a tether and everything like that along the cable, so you can't fall
nice.
or anything like that. Pretty neat deal. They've got one like that kind of up at Great Wolf Lodge that my daughter and I went to. Unfortunately, it was also pissing down rain when we went up there a couple years ago, so we did not go outside and do that. But yeah, it looked pretty fun. It was pretty busy there, so we didn't end up stopping in. But we did stop and get some, saltwater taffy, of course, and some caramel corn. And,
Which, by the way, thank you to your daughter for hooking us up with a little bit of it here last night.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
she decided to sneak old Papa Dubs and Randy Ray a couple pieces of that saltwater taffy, which was delicious.
I
Nice.
second that.
She offered it.
Wait, did you say that was pretty neat, Josh?
It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
How neat is that?
There we
That's
go.
pretty neat.
There you go. See, you got to remember that soundboard there. Kind of like when I said moist. I said moist.
Moist?
Moist.
See, there you go.
Ray?
Man. There you're getting it. And there's another one. Dakota would like to talk too. He's over on the right side. Yeah, exactly.
Moist.
See, there you go.
You know, everything's getting pretty moist in this room, anyways.
Whoa!
Whoa,
Hey!
nice.
Well done.
So anyway, yeah, we had a great day doing that. We stopped by Camp 18 on the way heading back towards home, or rather heading back towards Eric's Armory, and had a good lunch there and enjoyed ourselves quite thoroughly. And so yeah, it was a good day to spend with the kid yesterday. So now she's off on an adventure with her mudda, and they're heading out camping and all that. And
Which, by the way, the look on her face, you hear a little bit ago when she picked up your daughter, when she saw Ray for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
since he was like 2
yeah,
or 3, excuse me.
three.
Yeah. Was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that's him.
Yeah.
It's like, am I that old?
Matter of fact, I should. I'll have to do it the next show, but I'll have to show that picture,
Oh, gotcha.
the
Okay.
collage picture,
All right.
on the next show. So, yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. You know, rounded it off doing the rifle raffle and everything last night up there at Eric's Armory with Eric and Jesse and Julie and all that.
Yep.
And so that was a great time, and glad to get that thing taken care of and finally out the door to
its new
almost
home.
out the door to its new owner. So
Yeah. Just waiting on background now.
Yep, pretty awesome. So
Hell yeah.
that's what I was up to, buddy. How about you, Ray?
Well, I've had I'd say a pretty long week, a little bit longer than I'm usually like used to, I should say. Helped out Tiny at his CB shop do some weed eating yesterday. That was a long day.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Tiny sent. So Tiny had a barbecue going on.
Yeah.
His,
Today, yep.
Yeah, his anti-protest.
We're protesting the protesting
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
protest.
Yeah, and so he sent a plate of food back here for me since I was here at the studio, and did not get the opportunity to make it out there. So thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate that. Very good food.
Oh yeah. It was
It was
delicious.
delish. A lot of good company out there too today.
Oh yeah.
So
I met a lot of people, which is kind of the theme for me since moving here. Just yes, more people for me to meet.
well, you got to
Don't
start
get
somewhere.
worse.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was. Anyhow, go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, besides that, pretty basic work week and the barbecue, and went to the raffle yesterday with them. Threw some tickets in at the end. Did not win. I was very bummed about that.
Oh.
I was hoping that I would also put some in at the last second and would win like the winner did last year, but no sauce. So yeah,
It
that's
happens.
about it.
It happens.
Yeah,
But you know what though? It all went to an awesome cause.
that's why I am 100% okay with it.
Yeah, Fallen Outdoors is definitely appreciative and happy with the results of that one. So,
As everybody should.
yep.
So
Yep.
quite a
thank
bit
you-
was raised.
Thank you, everybody, for all of your entries there. So it's a very good deal.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm good.
All right. So no, just another crazy slow week. Well, but no, it was cool. I mean, towards the latter part, like Miss Mariah mentioned, Miss Kelly Dakota and her other half came up with a new baby, so we got to hang out with the new grandson. So that was a phenomenal time.
Which every time I was holding him and you walked up to me, he would smile for you. But I could not get a smile from him.
He even smiled for me.
Yeah, he was all about Uncle Ray.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
either way, no, it was a good time. And yeah, again, had an awesome time last night with doing the raffle. You guys have pretty much beaten that dead horse, so I'm not going to say any more on that one. And yeah, today's barbecue out there at Tiny's was awesome. Got a chance to meet and talk with a lot of folks out there. Some new, some old. Was a great time. Giving Bullet a bad time, but yeah, we'll get that guy here later on. So anyhow, yeah, big shout out to Northwest Corner Mud Ducks for putting that stuff together, especially Tiny with his outstanding cooking skills. I guess apparently before he was a CB radio repairman, he was actually a executive chef. So, and it definitely showed today.
Yes,
That is for sure. So anyhow, big shout out to those guys. So anyhow, it is 6:17 out here on the West Coast, and we need to jump into our next segment. John, are you ready to go?
Ready as ever.
All right, let's spin it up for the outdoors, shall we? This outdoor segment is brought to you in part by Eric's Armory. And now, for your outdoor segment host,
Here's Johnny.
How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
That is indeed pretty neat. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the outdoor segment. I am your co-host, John, the Dapper Sapper, back from my little hiatus last weekend. Anyways, before we get started, as always, go check out Eric's Armory at ericsarmory.com and go find a time to swing by their shop if you are in the area out there in Sandy. Make sure you give a call first and go see what they can do for you. Like we have already beat the dead horse. Normally I would say, hey, go pick up a raffle ticket for the rifle while you're at it. Well, it's gone and the winner has been contacted and all that. But thank you all, everyone, from the bottom of our hearts for contributing to that raffle. TFO is greatly appreciative of the raffle and all those who contributed to it. So thank you for that. But still, go check out Eric's Armory at ericsarmory.com, see what they can do for you, see what kind of awesome things they can get in stock for you. I just took home a new rifle the other night after we raffled the rifle off. So pretty stoked to have the Bagheera now, which there will be a video coming out on that later on as we get down the road. So first story in the hopper today comes to us from backpacker.com. Alaska has removed the Into the Wild bus, and for those of you that don't know what that is, you should probably read the book because it's a great book, good movie. Josh, Justin, probably Mariah too, maybe. You guys all know what Into the Wild is, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you guys know what the bus is all about. But anyways, story reads, so the state of Alaska on Monday relocated the abandoned bus made infamous by Into the Wild, airlifting it out of the backcountry in a joint operation conducted by the Alaska Army National Guard and the state's Department of Natural Resources. In a press release, the National Guard said that a team of 12 soldiers cut holes in the bus's ceiling and floor in order to rig chains to the vehicle's frame to attach a twin-rotor Chinook helicopter, which then carried the bus away from its resting place near the outskirts of the Denali National Park. Also known as the Magic Bus, the abandoned 1940s-era Fairbanks Transit bus first served as a shelter for hunters harvesting game in the forests off of the Stampede Trail in 1992. Adventurer Chris McCandle spent 114 days living in the bus, where he starved to death after becoming trapped by the fast-flowing Teklanika River. McCandle's stories became famous with the release of the 1996 bestseller Into the Wild and its 2007 Hollywood adaptation. The success of Into the Wild drew a steady stream of pilgrims to the Magic Bus, many of whom were unprepared for the Alaskan backcountry. Between 2009 and 2017, crews responded to 15 emergency calls from hikers who had become lost, injured, or trapped on their way to the bus. In February 2020, the state police rescued 5 Italian hikers, one of whom had developed frostbite. At least 2 hikers died attempting to make the 20-mile trip, including a Belarusian visitor who drowned in the swollen Teklanika River last year. We encourage people to enjoy Alaska's wild areas safely. We understand the hold this bus has had on the popular imagination. Corey A. Beach, Commissioner. They did not have safety briefs.
No, they did not.
And we understand the hold that the bus has on popular imagination. Corey A. Feige, a commissioner of the Alaska Department of Natural Resources, said in the release. However, this is an abandoned and deteriorating vehicle that was requiring dangerous and costly rescue efforts, but more importantly was costing some visitors their lives. I am glad we found a safe, respectful, and economical solution to the situation. The bus is currently in storage while the state considers what to do with it, Feig said. One proposed solution is to put it on display in a safer location. See the airlift video below. I totally spaced that there was a video attached to that, but that's okay. Otherwise, we would put that in the segment, maybe. What do you guys think?
Sad to see it go, but you know what? At the same time, yeah, it's time for that thing to find a permanent place, to say the least. If people want to go and see it, they can take that route versus trying to take a chance and get themselves actually lost out there in the Alaska wilderness, because as many of us are aware, it is not the most friendliest of frontiers, to say the least.
Not very forgiving.
No, and a lot of these people obviously, they wanted to see the into the wild, place for itself, firsthand. Obviously, well, some of these people got to live it. It sounds like, and it's not a good thing, My opinion, they probably should have moved this bus after the dude from Into the Wild died.
Yeah,
honestly. They should have moved it a long time ago, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. Well, the sad thing.
Are you talking about the movie, the actor?
No, not the actor. The dude that actually went in and spent 114 days and starved to death.
Yeah, he died. Oh,
Yeah.
you're saying they should have removed it way back.
They
then.
should have
I gotcha.
removed it after he
I
died.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you meant that they should have waited further to do it. I was confused.
No.
Saying they should have removed the bus after the dude died, after they found him. Like that. Bus is technically a gravesite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
True.
So, anyways, yeah, that's. Ryan, do you have any thoughts?
I was just say it's a good thing that they removed it now, but like I said, it's been up there for so long, and it costs a lot of extra time and money for people to be rescued trying to go see it. So now it's in a safer place where people can hopefully see it.
Yep, hopefully they'll restore it or something and put it on display, and people won't have to die to go see the place.
Exactly.
But people are
It is
still-
pretty ironic, though.
What's that?
What's
Said
that?
it is pretty ironic, though, people dying to go see this bus that
Yeah.
somebody died at,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and this also brings up the point. I think people are still going to try to go to the area that the bus was in, because it's not just the bus that drew people to that area; it's the area itself.
Right.
I want to see where Into the Wild took place.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll definitely have to recreate something if they're going to do some sort of, museum or showpiece for it or whatever. They're going to have to recreate something, the surroundings and terrain or whatever, as far as
Right.
it goes. So.
Well, this all goes back onto stuff that I've talked about in the show in the past, which is you're going into the backcountry. Be prepared, people.
Yeah.
Be prepared for it. Have the essential gear for the time of the year. Have the training. Have the knowledge. Have the experience.
Or at least have somebody with you that has the
And
experience.
you looking back
have
door,
somebody
it's
that's with
nasty.
you. But if you don't get the experience, go out and start where everybody that gets super experienced in backpacking and wilderness adventures starts. Start by doing day hikes. Start by doing all that stuff. Then start getting into guided trips, and then start working on doing your own trips. Do the proper progression. When you start from zero and go to hero, that's when things turn bad. Just don't do it. But anyways, so with that, we will move on to the next story, which has to do with duck hunting. So this story comes to us from Outdoor News. Record-setting wet conditions setting stage for epic duck hunt in North Dakota.
All right.
I kind of want to get back into fowl hunting anyway, so this one definitely piqued my interest. Yes, right? But anyways, Bismarck, North Dakota. Record-setting wet conditions hampered hunters in North Dakota last fall. Might have set the stage for prime duck hunting this fall, wildlife officials say. An annual spring survey by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I love how every state has a different way of saying Fish and Wildlife Services.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now they do
Every
the same
state-
thing with like DMV and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. You know,
Every state has a different way of saying the same thing.
we can't standardize for some reason.
No, it's kind of funny. But anyways, annual spring survey done by the Dakota Game and Fish Department. See, that just sounds weird saying it that way. Game and Fish Department. How about Fish and Game Department? You know.
Right.
Estimates that 3.98 million, that's million with an M, breeding ducks in the state of Bismarck, the Tribune reported.
That's a lot of duck porn.
It's a lot of ducks.
Mother ducker.
Mother ducker. When you start getting around the 4 million range, you are talking about very, very good duck numbers. That's a thing. Very, very good duck numbers. All right.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weed tangling going on.
Dang. These ducks be getting it on. They must have cocaine or something. Just saying.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It is a hell of a drug. And, you know, whatever. It must lead to making 4 million. That's a lot. 4 million ducks?
That's a lot of duck, dude.
A lot of ducks with cocaine out there.
Don't forget the smell of cocaine.
Anyways, breeding duck numbers are generally related to the wetland conditions. Widespread drought in 2016 led to spring breeding duck numbers dropping below 3 million in 2017 and 2018 for only the second and third times in nearly a quarter century. Numbers rebounded above 3 million in spring 2019. End of article. I would love to hear from somebody in North Dakota that hunts ducks. Like I
Dean
wouldn't pay.
Cerny. He's like, I flush a turd. Wouldn't exactly call it hunting, but it was foul.
So just
a lot of
to
duck.
throw this out there, just from what I've heard from experience and my own experience and people who've raised ducks, really, when the wetter the season, the higher the duck population, because
Wetter or moist?
the wetter.
All right.
Wetter is better.
The scent does not carry as well for the predators. Where when it's dry, when they come out of the water or anything, it carries their scent further.
Well, yeah, because it dampens it down.
So that I've heard that numerous times with any waterfowl and everything. So that's one reason why, if it's wetter, then there's a bigger population of breeding and everything.
I used to raise ducks, so that was.
You had a duck named Jerry.
I did have a duck named Jerry, and he was the unkillable.
Yes.
The unkillable.
Oh, you
duck
should have
named
let him
Jerry.
play with my dog Jerry.
That would have been a funny time.
That would have been ironic.
Jerry?
So
But isn't it ironic?
it
Don't
doesn't,
Don't you think?
it doesn't surprise me that the higher the duck population with the wetter conditions.
Yeah.
So I've actually never done any duck hunting at all.
They taste like mud.
Not all the
Well,
time.
I don't think so. Duck
Depends on
is
the
really
duck.
good. I love like duck confit. Duck,
Oh, yeah.
duck is-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can definitely season and prepare it, anyway. Yeah, I've eaten duck and all that, but I've never actually done any duck hunting. It's not, I mean, it's not as popular out here as it is over,
Like in the Midwest and stuff
all
like that, yeah.
So, but, I do actually know several people who do go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. I was gonna say in Eastern Oregon. I know a lot of people that go duck hunting out there, like out in the Pendleton area. I've got some buddies that are absolute religious waterfowl hunters. Here in Prineville too, for that matter. My buddy Mitch, he's all about waterfowl. That's all he does.
Jade says, I would lose my mind. I am driven crazy by one psycho duck that dens behind my house. Stephanie says, Jerry might have eaten Jerry. Mickey says, I'm all about that turducken at Thanksgiving.
I've never had a turducken. I would.
They are
love to have
delicious.
it.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to has had it says it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
So
that sounds amazing.
Especially when you get all three birds fresh because my neighbor had turkeys and we had ducks and chickens. So we actually made a legit turducken. It was amazing.
Nice.
We had same day turkey last year for hunting season.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we.
Day after.
Yeah.
Okay, day after, but it is same day turkey. Come on now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically.
And it was
That was-
delicious.
It
You're
was.
welcome, guys.
It was tasty.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for actually killing something.
Besides me.
Hey, you
What?
know what? John got the deer. Since we weren't getting any elk, somebody had to get something. So we got a turkey.
Yeah, that works.
There you go.
Now everyone's
Yeah.
hungry.
Food on the table, by God.
There was.
Diggity dag on, by God.
By God.
All right. Anything else on the ducks? I still can't get over the number. 4 million ducks.
I'm telling you, dude, that's a lot of weed dragging.
Ducks. I really never thought 4 million ducks.
I wonder
Anyway.
what 4 million ducks looks like.
I don't know that I'd want to
It's
see
loud.
that.
Yeah, right.
I honestly don't know that I'd want to see that.
Well, if you've ever been to Autzen Stadium, you would know it's loud.
Oh, my God.
What?
Can we please not talk about the beavers and the ducks? Like, I'm going to get angry.
Don't even get me started on that crap. We're
Yeah.
no longer gonna call the Civil War the Civil War. You sons of. Anyhow. Yeah.
Move right along.
Right along.
Yes.
Move right along.
Moving right along.
So next story is going to be more Central Oregon specific today, something that I kind of came up with, adding on to something that I did last year, which were some of my favorite hikes and favorite areas in Oregon to go hike. So we're going to start out with a little bit of best all-around hikes in Central Oregon. So the first one we're going to talk about is Black Butte. If you guys are out here in Central Oregon, sometime, if you guys haven't been up Black Butte, please do. Black Butte is one of the premier hikes in Central Oregon. It's not an overly long hike unless you decide to hike it from the base. The actual trailhead, you drive to pretty much the top of the mountain, and then it's a 3-mile round trip ish. It is fairly steep, but the views that you get from Black Butte are unlike anything in Central Oregon, because Black Butte, as Justin and Josh and Ryan can all attest, stands by itself and sisters, and you get a good panoramic of most of the Cascades around you. So what you see in front of you is kind of the general trail once you pop up above tree line for Black Butte. You can go ahead and hit the next. So this is towards the top of Black Butte. There is an old fire lookout up there. For safety purposes, you can't go into the lookout. It is an active lookout in the summertime, so don't go. But if you go in the summertime, don't go bothering the lookout staff up there. They are doing a critical job as fire lookouts. Yes, we still do use them. They are very good at spotting new starts, especially in the Central Oregon area. As you can see the terrain below you. Go ahead and hit the next picture, Josh. There's also a lookout
Cafe
cabin.
Ray doing the production
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
that's right. It is.
Yeah.
Dang.
I know, right? It's kind of
It's
freaky
weird.
to sit here and watch. I'm telling
Right. So this picture is also from the summit. So there is an old lookout cabin that's kind of abandoned. And actually, the Forest Service demolished this cabin, so it's not there anymore.
Aw.
This is from back in the day. That used to be the original quarters for the lookouts that were on top of Black Butte. But the mountain that you see off in the background, that's Three Fingered Jack.
I was gonna say, yeah, that looks like old three
It
finger
is.
out there.
Yep, it's Three Fingered Jack. So that's one of the minor 9,000 foot peaks out here in Central Oregon. Pretty fun climb. We'll go over some of that later on down the summer when we start getting into some climbing stuff. But yeah, if you guys are out here, Black Butte's located in Sisters. I'll go over some general stuff for Black Butte. Black Butte Summit is a must-see for anyone living in or vacationing in Central Oregon. After just half a mile on the trail, you will rise above the dense tree and gain breathtaking views of, obviously, the huge volcanoes that everybody on the show has seen. The summit provides a 360-degree cascade panorama. You can see basically everything. On a clear day, you can almost see Shasta down to the south.
Oh wow.
On a perfectly clear day. Like, we're talking brilliant, like first thing in the morning, no haze, nothing.
Right.
and that's no haze to California. So those days are rare that you can see the Shasta, but you can definitely see all the way down to Thielsen and
Mount
all the way north to
McLaughlin
Mount
and
Hood.
all that down
And you
that
can
way.
see Mount Hood, you can see Three Finger Jack, All Three Sisters, Broken Top, Bachelor, Jefferson. It's stunning up there, you guys. I highly recommend doing this hike. And one of the best things you can do is do it early in the morning before sunrise, so getting a good early start and watching the sunrise up there. But the best time to be up there is sunset.
So I was gonna say, have you met our friends? They don't tend to get up that early.
I'm glad you said the best time is sunset.
Yeah. That is way more likely.
Sunset's awesome. I've spent sunsets up there a couple of times. I've spent sunset on most of the mountains in Central Oregon, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I can't stress it enough, guys. If you have the willpower to do it, it's 3-mile round trip. It's not hard at all.
John, Jade would like to know what the elevation is up there.
The elevation is, well, Jade, you drove probably higher. We drove on Memorial Day higher probably than Black Butte, or probably around the same elevation. And it's right at about, I think it's just shy of 9,000 feet. I can't remember off the top of my head the actual overall summit, but the elevation gain of the trail is only 1,600 feet total in about 1.5 miles. So I mean, there's a fair amount of distance or elevation gain over basically 2 miles. So it's 1.5 miles to 2 miles, give or take, one way up the trail. But Black Butte's about, I think it's 9,000 and
6,436 feet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Black Butte, I don't really pay attention to the elevation on because I don't consider it a mountain per se.
It's kind of a mound.
Well,
It is.
It's a butte. Wow, what a butte!
It's a butte.
It is technically, scientifically, it is a composite volcano. It is not a cinder cone. It is an actual composite volcano that's actually older than most of the Cascade volcanoes. So, interesting piece of geology there. Anyways, we'll move on to the next set of pictures in the next hike. So, there's your awesome, amazing outdoor co-host in one of my favorite places where I got to take Katrina and Annie and Matt during Memorial Day weekend. We didn't make it up this high, but we came pretty close. This is the Hayden Glacier Middle Sister hike from Pole Creek, where we were out camping. This is up at my high camp, just at the base of North Sister there on the right and Middle Sister on the left, with Prouty Point in the saddle in between the two. Hayden Glacier is all those big snowfields that you see in the foreground. This hike is, depending on the route that you take and depending on how much snow is on the ground and how much route finding you have to do, can be anywhere from about to the base of North and Middle Sister can be about anywhere from 7.5 to 9 miles one way. And then if you want to do the summit, obviously, then you're adding another few miles on top of it to get to the summit. So all in all, total, like, I think Memorial Day weekend when I took Katrina and Annie and Matt out, we did a total of, I think, just shy of 13 miles total. But we didn't make it up to where I took this picture. You can go ahead and hit the next picture, Ray.
How many times have you hiked that, John?
Probably over 60 times. The mountain itself, Middle Sister, probably, gosh, I don't even know.
More than 5?
Yes. I would say probably 18, 19 times.
Wow.
Just shy of 20 summits on Middle Sister. So this is
So
South
you've mounted
Sister.
the Middle Sister 20 times?
Yes.
Yes.
Summited.
Well
not
done,
mounted.
good sir.
Okay, next time I'll have to remember that. Summiting.
So this is a picture of the South Sister. This is the third highest mountain in Oregon. I've also climbed and summited, Josh, the South Sister.
Yes. Well done, sir.
8 times now. most of them from the view that you see actually right there. But this is some of the views that you get from the Pole Creek Trailhead down lower on the trailhead. The next picture. That's Broken Top. So Broken Top is I've also climbed Broken Top a few times. Probably the least amount of all of them. Broken Top's a little sketchy. It's pretty exposed, and the final summit pitch involves a bunch of what we call chutes and ladders, and or catwalks and ladders, and it's not a fun climb. It's fun, but it can be a little bit nerve wracking, especially if it's busy. You definitely got to mind your footing, because if you fall in certain places on the catwalks, like you're
gonna have a bad time.
It's not a bad time. You're toast. Like you will die. Next. So this is the wilderness boundary, going up Pole Creek. So this hike is really good for a longer day hike if you're not wanting to go and climb the mountains, but wanting to get up close and personal with the mountains other than just seeing them from a distance. This is a great hike to do it. The trail is not super steep. If you go all the way up to high camp and get above tree line, you end at about 8,000 feet total elevation. And you start at about 63-ish is, I believe, what the trailhead starts at. And like I said, it can be one way is anywhere from 7 to probably 9 miles, depending on how far you go and what the snow conditions are, what the down tree fall conditions are. This hike take plenty of water because the first 3/4 of it are through a massive fire scar called the Pole Creek Burn. During the summertime, it's brutal. It gets hot in there. There's no wind, and there's no shade, and there's very, very little running water. During the early season, like when we did it in Memorial Day, you do have a couple creeks that you cross. Shoes Creek being one of them, and that's a year-round creek that you can fill water up off of that comes right off of Hayden Glacier, and really good water too. So next picture. And so this is, as I was saying, spending sunset up in the Cascades. This is from my high camp for climbing Middle and North Sister. This was right at sunset when I was getting ready to go to bed, and perfectly clear day, and watching the sun just dip down right there behind the saddle between the Middle and North Sister.
That's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it doing it by yourself too. Like if you're looking for a spiritual experience in nature, do this. Like you want to find out how small you are and feel how small and what alone feels like. Do this trek.
Not too often do you get all this neatness in one location.
Mm-hmm. You'll get the spiritual experience that you're looking for, I promise you. And if you don't, then you're a soulless bastard, and I don't want to know you. But anyways, next picture. I think that's it. Oh, so yeah, we're gonna move on to the next hike on the list.
We've actually talked about this lake before on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
So now you're actually going to see pictures that I took of this lake on the show. So this is No Name Lake on Broken Top. Last year we talked about, actually it was year before last because Kaylin did the article.
Yeah, it was season 1 we talked about this.
Yeah. So this is where, for those loyal listeners that have been listening since season 1, this is where the elk herd was found. Encrusted in the glacier, and the place that they were found is, if you look at this lake, this is No Name Lake, and if you look on the right side of it, so Climber's Right, if you're standing in the middle, if you're standing where I took the picture from, Climber's Right would be the right side of the picture, but if you look at the top right edge of the lake, that snowfield right there, the elk were found about a quarter of the way up from the lake in the snowfield right there. And this picture was taken after they kicked most of the carcasses into the lake. So, in fact, actually, no. So those little gray areas, that's what's you see those little gray dots?
Yep.
Kind of
Yeah.
Snowfield? That's in a cluster right there. That's where the elk were found.
Oh, wow.
So
that was shortly thereafter they found him then.
yeah. It wasn't very long after. I wasn't a cast member on the show when I took this picture.
No.
So, anyways, this is No Name Lake on Broken Top. So Broken Top features a glacial lake that is year-round up on the flanks of the mountain. There is a trail to this lake, obviously. You can drive to it or you can hike to it. In the wintertime, you cannot access the trailhead unless you want to do a multi-day trek on snowshoes, or if you have a snowmobile that can get you to the wilderness boundary, because the road that goes to the Todd Lake trailhead is under about 8 to 10 feet of snow. But anyways, from the trailhead...
Hey, John, real quick. Dean wants to know what happened to the elk.
They got caught in an avalanche. There are plenty of elk up here. In fact, this is some of the area that we can hunt this year again, like we did last year.
Yep.
For the Upper Deschutes unit. There are lots of elk out here. They are, however, elusive. But during the winter months, they do trek through the snow out there. And they tried to apparently trek over Broken Top in the middle of wintertime. And from what Fish and Game said, they got caught in an avalanche and buried. And then that year that I took the picture, during the melt-off during the summertime, they were exposed. And there were mummified elk remains on the glacier.
Yep.
Which is
pretty
crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Everything good?
I don't know. We'll find out here shortly. Probably. I know it has something to do with home. So, anyhow.
But yeah. So from the trailhead, requires a drive over a pretty nasty, rough road. You guys will get to experience this year when we do elk season at some point, I'm sure, because I want to hunt the Traverse again, anyways. But the road's pretty nasty, pretty rough. But once you get up to the trailhead, the trail to the lake itself is about 2.5 to 3 miles. It is very steep in places, and the last probably 250, 300 meters of the trek into the lake basin. Go ahead and hit next picture there, Ray. So this is coming up off the trail into the lake basin itself through the Creek Gorge. It can be a little technical in places. You're walking through a narrow gorge that the creek that runs out of this lake has carved out over the years. So it's steep, it's rocky, it's all cinder, it's very loose. You definitely have to watch your footing. But this is like the coolest picture when you come up out of the final push to the top of getting into the lake basin. And this is what you see. Like, you come out from looking uphill and looking at the top of Broken Top to you pop up into the lake basin, and this is the picture that you see in front of you. It's pretty spectacular. Next picture. And then this is another photo. So you can kind of see some of the dark areas in the foreground there on the right. That's the snowfield that they found the elk in. You can see some of those dark splotches. That's where the elk were actually found.
Yep.
So, next picture. And then this is looking over towards Bend Glacier on the northeast slope of the mountain, which this day I did actually go traverse across and over to Green Lakes on my hike. So next picture.
Toes.
And this is from the top of Tam MacArthur Rim. So Tam MacArthur is a cliff face behind me that's about a 2,000 foot drop down to the Bend Glacier, and I'm just chilling out on the top of it because hiking up from the bowl down there to the top of here is a beast. It was probably about 70, 80 degrees outside. It's pretty warm, but really good trek. And then of course you can see the lake in the foreground, and you can go swimming in it. It's actually kind of refreshing.
Probably cold as shit.
Wouldn't it be cold?
It's very cold, but it is very refreshing in the summertime.
I wouldn't want to go in there now with the elk in there.
Hey, Mariah, you go up there and go do a polar plunge. Come on. It's like an ice bucket challenge on steroids.
Yeah, that's no
John
kidding.
can have at it.
I've already swum in it a few times. People bring floaties and shit up there and stuff because you can camp up here. You just have to camp over 100 yards away from the water source. But yeah, people bring floaties up there. They go floating in the water and stuff. It's really refreshing in the summertime, especially after you've hiked through the Alpine Plain when it's like
Oh yeah.
90 degrees outside. Like you're just dying once you get up to the top, and then you get this nice, big, beautiful glacial lake, and it's just like, yep, stripping down to my ruse and jumping in.
Right.
So, next picture.
I think that's it, buddy.
Is that it?
That's it.
That'd be it.
Yeah, so those are kind of my top 3 picks for Central Oregon. Guys, if you're ever in the Central Oregon area, and if you have any questions about some of these hikes, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email, shoot me a private message on Facebook, add a comment in here. I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys about some of this stuff. I love taking people up here. Annie, Miss Waterfall, she can attest to this 100%. Her and Katrina and Matt Crosby can attest to this as well. You know, they got to go up Pole Creek as far as we could go, as far as I was comfortable taking them at least, over Memorial Day weekend. And, you know, I love seeing the look on people's face when they get up into these areas for the first time and they realize, like, damn, like, this is some cool shit.
Right.
It brings a smile to my face every time. My girlfriend Katrina has been up to No Name Lake, and she's dying and itching to go back this year already. Like, she wants to get back up there, and this time she wants to go up to Tam MacArthur Rim. So looking forward to getting back up there here in the not too distant future. But anyways, guys, like I said, if you're in the area, check these hikes out. They're fantastic hikes to go on. If you're in the area and need someone to go hiking with, drop me a line. I'd be more than happy to go hiking with you guys and take you guys up into some of these places. And if you want to plan a trip and need to know more information, shoot me a private message. I'd be more than willing to talk to you guys about this. But anyways, so that takes care of it for the outdoor segment this evening, guys. As always, please go hit up Eric's Armory at ericsarmory.com. They can take care of all your shooting sports needs and your tactical needs, ammunition needs, whatever. Be patient with them, though. As you know, the rifle that I took home last night, we were like number 3,000 in line last week when we did the background check. Background checks are taking like a week right now unless you get extremely lucky for some reason. So be patient with your gun dealers. Be patient with anybody that works in the industry. They are trying. We're in unprecedented times, folks. But with that, if you're in the area, give Eric's Armory your business. And if you need to order something, they do ship to FFLs. So
Yes, they do.
with that, I'll hand it back off to you, sir.
All right. Thank you much. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into our next segment known as Pops Takes.
Bullshit.
Because these takes are scorching hot. Now, get ready for some raw,
You want it raw?
gritty, and unfiltered takes from the old man, Don himself.
She can't say the truth because it does makes her look like an idiot. Because that's what she is.
These are Pops Takes right here on BB Nation Radio.
Bullshit.
And we are back once again, as always. Pops, here's to you. Good day to you, sir. All right.
All right, I guess I'm ready for this now.
Are you ready for this now?
Right.
Now, I know last week we left off, we kind of blindsided you with the whole Father's Day thing. But this week, no, you have full reign, good sir.
All right, well, I don't even know where to start. I mean, it's what I said earlier about Pelosi and all that other.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what this whole protest thing is right now. It's turned into bullshit.
Okay.
They're not protesting anymore. Well, the protesters are being used by a bunch of terrorists.
Okay, how so?
They're using them and their excuse for them to set up these places like in Seattle and all that, these CHOP or whatever it is
Right.
up there, and destruction of different public and private property, and and now they're shooting people and everything else and getting away with it. Now, it's complete, total lawlessness, and that boils down to the fact that because it's against anything that represents the United States, period. It doesn't represent the Confederacy. It doesn't represent anything other than against the United States, our America that we fought, all of us, fought to protect.
Right.
And here these people are trying to tear it apart. Well, I don't even call them people; they're more like animals.
Anymore, it's what it seems.
It seems. And a lot. They got so many followers because the fact that our education system has let us down. They have completely and totally not taught any of these people the real true facts about our history of the United States.
They've been more institutionalized and educated.
Exactly. And not just institutionalized, but indoctrinated.
Yeah.
That's a better word for it. They've been indoctrinated. And it's gotten so ridiculous that, and actually some of these professors and stuff and what they're saying and some of these politicians are just, they're treasonous in themselves.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to say it anymore. It's just got to me. I guess I'm getting old, and I'm not worried about myself anymore. But I'm sure worried about you and the rest of my family, the younger generations.
Right.
They've got to carry on, because are they going to have anything left to carry on if politicians don't get off their butts and start doing something?
Well, that's why we have our voices heard in November at the ballot box. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, that's how we were bounded. That's how we were built.
Well, it gets ridiculous. I mean, it's like these so-called polls that they're putting out. Well, Biden's ahead of Trump by 30 points or 10 points or whatever. And when you go to look at it...
Well, they said the same thing in 2016 between him and Hillary.
Well, what they're trying to do, they're just trying to sway people's decision to not vote.
Or not vote for...
Oh, yeah.
Vote for the candidate that they want them to vote for.
Yeah, but they just don't want them to vote. Then the ones that are going to... Then they will be the only ones that vote. And guess what?
Yeah.
The United States of America will be destroyed as we've known it over the history.
Well, that's where that mantra comes into play. You hear a lot of folks saying, well, my vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I vote. Yes, it does.
Believe me, folks, you all have to get out and vote. And I hope you vote our way, but you got to get out and vote, period, no matter what. And my hope and prayer is that we get rid of some of these House of Representative members and some of the people on the Senate that just are trying to destroy the country.
Right. And it's not just, and the sad thing is I can honestly say it's not just one side that is doing it. There's folks on both sides of the aisle that are feeding into this.
What you have to do, you've got to stop and look at the candidates.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah. You got to stop and look at the candidates and really research what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truly stand for. Not what they say they stand for, but what they look back at their records and see what they've done.
Exactly.
And that's what's happened so much is people haven't really looked back to see what these people have done to the country.
Right.
Or for the country.
No, what's funny is I actually saw a video here yesterday, as a matter of fact. It was a black gentleman. He was talking about with all the protests and taking the statues down and everything else, talking about understanding history. And when they're talking about when they tore down, they're trying to take down the Lincoln statue in Philadelphia, right. And then they tore down the Ulysses S. Grant statue in San Francisco. He's like, what are you guys doing? He goes, you guys don't understand our history. He's like, these are people that fought for us, people that fought for, against slavery. These are people, and Ulysses S. Grant statue, or the Lincoln Memorial statue in Philadelphia,
right,
was actually paid for by former slaves in that time of when they built that.
Right.
And he's just like, these are people that fought against it to help give us freedom. People of this color, as he's pointing to his arm, he's clearly black man. He's just like, have you guys lost your mind? He goes, this is our history that you guys are trying to wipe out. He's like, I don't understand why. What is the point? He goes, you guys have been so indoctrinated instead of educated, you don't understand.
Well, they're not stupid. They're just plain ignorant, and they've had too much ignorance beat into them all. But like that, they tore down that abolitionist. I can't remember his name now, but the one that one of the major abolitionists, Day of freeing the slaves.
Yeah, and
they tore that down. They have no clue as to what these people did and what some of these statues represent.
Yeah,
they don't get it, and actually, the powers to be don't want them to get it. They want them to be without minds of their own.
Right. So, quick, we only have a couple minutes left. There's one other take that I want to get from you. Now, we actually shared an article on our Facebook page here the other day, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Your thoughts are probably going to be the same as my feelings on it and a lot of our other followers and stuff. So there is actually a movement out there right now to try and change our national anthem from the Star Spangled Banner because there's 2 lines. If you read the entire lyrics of the song that Francis Scott Key wrote,
okay,
there's 2 lines in there where he actually talks about I should have had this up in front of me, but where he talks about with how violent that the battle was that he's
right
on Fort McNairy, about not even slave nor owner or whatever you want to call it would be safe from the onslaught that was taking place. And because of that line, they're saying it's racist and want the Star Spangled Banner changed.
What's racist about it?
It was the fact of the times, is what it was. It's the sad truth to our nation's history, but it's still our nation's history. If you don't learn it or embrace it, you're not going to be able to learn from it to prevent those same mistakes from happening again.
Well, that's very true. But you also have to understand that people have to understand where this country came from. And, they talk about the slavery and how bad they had it and all that, and they're absolutely true. And there should never have happened, but it did.
Yeah.
But it's past. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But now, how would they feel if they'd been the Japanese, American Japanese during the time of the World War II?
Oh, when we had the
intern camps and everything, and you were locked up in jail. Basically, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
same thing with a lot of folks of German descent as well.
Right, absolutely. But that's just, they haven't heard any, they don't know history.
Right.
Not the true history. They don't, what people try and make them believe, but they don't know about true history because they've never really learned it.
Yeah. Well, it's like
nobody's showing it to them.
Now, here's a catch to that, though. You want to know what they're trying to replace it with? And this is going to throw you for a complete loop.
What are they going to replace it with?
John Lennon's, what was it?
Yeah, I remember you said something about
that. What was it? Imagine. Yeah, Imagine by John Lennon. And it's just like, are you kidding me? The biggest, don't get me wrong, he was good with the Beatles and all, but he became the epitome of a super socialist hipster, which is a polite way of saying, communist, pretty much, which is complete opposite of what this country was built to be.
Well, he went past that. He went all the way past that, all the way to Hitler. He had Hitler's mind about people. They were supreme. He was a supreme man, a god, and anybody below that wasn't the same race as his or anything else didn't.
Well, that's kind of contrary to what his song was about, though, where he's talking about backing all the people. Yeah,
so many of these people, they say one thing and then they do something else, and they say something else again. That's exactly the opposite of what they said the first time.
Oh, you mean kind of like Antifa?
Yeah, every one of them.
They sit there and preach about being against fascism, but yet what do they practice?
That's what they're practicing right now.
Yeah.
And terrorism. Oh, we're not terrorists. We're protesters. No, they're not protesters anymore. When they go to destroying public property and private property and injuring people and killing them, shooting everybody, then that's not protesting anymore. That is flat out terrorism.
Yeah, it's rioting and
rebelling, terrorism, and they ought to all be locked up.
Per the U.S. Code, what they have been doing is exactly that, is a textbook definition of terrorism.
Well, we talked about something the other night, just real quick, about how they're hollering about tear gas is so bad that it's
yes, I remember you telling me about this.
They are saying that it's so dangerous that they can't use it because it's deadly. Well, guess what? How's come all of us people that served in the military, went through boot camp and everything else, how's come we're not dead?
Right. Oh, but it gives you PTSD as well.
Oh, yeah.
You get PTSD from being gassed.
I got it, but I didn't get it from that. I know what I got mine from.
Yeah, it was a very traumatic experience to where I remember the burning sensation anytime that it was so traumatic that anytime that I had a cold, I was pushing for us to go to the gas chamber because I knew that would be the one thing that would clear out the sinuses, man.
Well, I don't know how you guys which way they did yours or whatever, but I know how mine were, and everybody said, "Well, you had a mask on." I said,
"You started off with a mask on."
Actually, we didn't start off with a mask on.
Oh, really?
We had to go in there, and then they set off the tear gas.
Yeah.
You had to get your mask on and clear it and everything.
Okay.
And then start breathing through it while you were in there. Because that's what's going to happen. You're not going to have a mask on when you go out there.
Well, yeah.
So that's what they wanted us to do. They want us to learn that. And then after you've been in there for 5 minutes with that mask on and everything,
yeah,
then they make you take it off and stand there for a minute or two before they let you go out the door.
See, with us, what they would do is we would go in with our mask on, and then they would tell you, okay, break the seal and everything else, and then
clear it.
Then you had to reseal it, clear it, and everything else. And you got to stand there for a minute while you get to feel the nice little burning and tingling sensation over your exposed skin.
Yeah.
And then, because you just went in with a mask on, you didn't have on the chem suit. It was just the mask that you had.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they got done doing that, they had you take your mask off, just remove it completely, put it back in your carrier, and then you had to recite your last name, your last four, and your home state.
Yeah.
And then in some cases, they would actually make you recite the Soldier's Creed.
Well, that's kind of what they did.
And then once you got done doing that, then they would tell you in very slow order, do not run.
Right.
Do not push. Walk out the door with your hand on your battle buddy in front of you. And it's just like, oh my God. And you're sitting there, just snot's pouring, your eyes are watering and everything else. Your skin's on fire. You're just like, God, would you just shut up and open the door?
I don't know about you, but when we got out of there, the first thing they ran us right through a shower with clothes on and everything.
Oh, you got lucky.
Yeah, then after we got done with that, then they took us back to our quarters and had us change clothes again. But because it saturates your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
It gets in you, and it gets into your skin and everything else.
Right.
But the way they use it out there in the open, like they do, in these riots and all that,
it dissipates.
Yeah.
It's not in a contained building where it can sit there and concentrate. And the thing about it is that they don't use, well, at least for us, they didn't use a full CS grenade. They only use like 3 of the capsules, and each grenade has like 100 capsules in it.
Right.
So, and they take 3 or 4 of those capsules and they drop them in a pan on the floor and set them off and say, "All right, boys," and that's just
Well, it's been 60 years ago, so I don't remember exactly how many pellets they dropped in or whatever. But I know
still enough to let you know it works.
Yeah, we knew what it was all about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't deadly. It didn't give me PTSD or anything like that from then. Mine came from combat, which everybody else's did too, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry if you got PTSD from the gas chamber. You have no place in the military. I'm sorry.
You have no place anywhere.
All right, Pops. Well, again, thank you very much. We got to wrap this up. Yep. So here's to you, sir. Here's to all that came before and all that are and all that will.
Okay.
So
same to you.
All right, folks, that concludes this week's edition of Pop Steaks. We'll talk to you next week with another edition right here on BB Nation Radio.
Alrighty then. Very nice from Pops.
Yes, always a pleasure hearing what he's got to say. So, with that being said, it is 10 after the hour. Ray, let's go ahead and hit the next segment, shall we? All right, short and sweet. This one comes to us again from our friends over at American Military News. Ohio National Guard reveals member accused of expressing white supremacist views.
Minnie?
I wasn't going to say many, but okay. Anyhow, amid what it said was an ongoing investigation, the Ohio National Guard released the name of the member facing removal from the organization after allegedly expressing white supremacist views. A National Guard spokesman said PFC Shandon Simpson, quote, has been processed for separation, unquote, but would not elaborate, citing the investigation. The organization also would not release his age or hometown, but previously identified him as a member of Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 148th Infantry Regiment in Tiffin, Ohio, since May of 2018. Public records show he's 24 and registered to vote at an address in Huber Heights, just outside of Dayton, Ohio. Governor Mike DeWine revealed earlier this month that a member of the Ohio National Guard who had been deployed to Washington to provide security during anti-racism demonstrations was being investigated by the FBI for allegedly expressing white supremacist views online. Mr. Simpson was one of 100 Ohio National Guard members who were sent to the nation's capital at the request of Secretary of Defense Mark Esper.
Big Brother's always watching.
Yeah, I know, right? The National Guard had said the individual was removed from the Washington mission, quote, after allegations of ties to an extremist organization, unquote. Mr. DeWine said on June 5th the state was cooperating with the investigation and looking into how identify members who might hold extremist views. End of article. I'm sorry, but if you're in the military, that has no place for it in our ranks whatsoever.
No.
And they did the right thing by yanking this guy off that mission and giving him the boot right the hell out. Because I'm sorry, there is no place for that whatsoever. I don't care who you are. When you train together, you work together, you fight together, there is no color. The only color that you have is the color of your uniform. That is it. End of story. Nothing else needs to be said. And if you can't conform to that culture, it is not for you. You need to go bye-bye, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And we've talked about that many times
Yes,
here on
we
the
have.
show. You know, we've talked about that many times. That we're all one team. We're all Team America.
Yep.
And we just need to all get along.
Right. John, what's your take? I want to hear your thought on this one right quick.
You're muted, buddy.
Okay.
We can't hear you. Oh,
God.
Come on, Dakota. Seriously?
We got a Dakota moment.
Can you hear me?
There he
Yeah,
is.
there we go. Now we can hear you.
I literally didn't do anything.
Huh. Weird.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Get up, Randy.
Good
Anyways,
call.
there is no color. There's green.
That's all
Just
there is to it.
Hey, there you go. Short, sweet, and
And
simple.
and hold on a second. And there is racism in the service. Not what you would think. It's racism between first platoon, second platoon. And don't get me started on those fuckers in headquarters.
Oh my God, right? But it's sad though, because I have honestly seen it firsthand, where people have actually been like legitimate. They may not come out and say it. They'll tap dance around it big time. But you can tell who the ones that actually are and actually are not. And the ones that, and I've seen soldiers as an NCO that have been that way. And the sad thing is about it is, I've seen very little of it where it was the white on any other race, but more of the other way around, which is sad to say. But
Well, let's be careful on that. We're getting into
yeah, but either way, there's no place for it in the service.
no.
There is not. 110% no.
And I will agree though that it exists on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
Racism
Absolutely.
is not just a white problem.
No. No,
And if
it
you
is
think
not.
that way, you are an idiot.
You are very ignorant in your view on that, if
Yes.
you believe that.
Because guess what? So a little history lesson to tack onto this. Y'all should look into Irish slaves back in the 16 and 17.
Thank you.
I'm not even joking. And there's plenty of proof and research and historical knowledge to point to this.
Yep.
Like the Irish, and probably gonna catch some flack for this, probably suffered at the hands of the English as far as slavery goes, more I would say than African Americans.
Well, take a look at what they had to go through down in South Africa as well, working, in a lot of the colonies and stuff like that as well.
How about the
On
Egyptian
that
slaves?
note,
How come nobody
Irish
talks about
slaves
the Egyptian
sold
slaves?
to Africa.
Yes. As a matter of fact, they were.
Like that just invalidates.
And the East
Race work.
and the West Indies as well.
Mhm.
That's where the origins of mulatto actually came from.
Yep.
But the only thing about it was the reason why they did it, why a lot of owners would actually, they would quote unquote breed Irish slaves with African slaves, but the African slaves had a higher market value. And so in order to get something more in the middle, they would actually mix the two. Thus where you got your mulattoes in the West Indies, and this is true history right here. A lot of people may not like it, but it's true.
Liberals don't argue history; they argue emotion. They don't care about history. They don't care about your facts. They don't care about reason. They care about emotion.
Exactly.
Fighting's bad. So,
were you talking about wives or?
Oh
liberals?
my God, Almighty! But anyhow, so yeah, that's just a little tidbit as far as that one.
Yeah.
So you don't believe us? Go ahead and research it.
Yeah, research it. And the other thing you'll find shocking about it is that Irish slaves were far cheaper, even before they did the whole mulatto thing.
Yep.
Irish slaves were cheaper, and they were treated far worse.
They were about a quarter of the price.
They didn't care if they killed Irish slaves because they were cheaper. So before you get your panties in a bunch, do your history research and look into this. But I digress. Racism exists on all sides, guys. Period. So, and in the military, there is no room for it.
Indeed.
So, it's the right thing.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because we are behind on the clock and we need to get on to our last segment known as Dummy of the Week. Hit it, good sir.
I'll spell it for you. D-U-M-M-Y.
Shut up, dummy. You big dummy.
For every man, there's a woman. And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
And now, your Dummy of the Week on BV Nation Radio.
All right, for your Dummy of the Week this week, it's brought to you by CNN.
Yeah.
The
Chicken
headline...
Noodle News?
Yeah,
Yes.
believe it or
Please
not.
tell me that it's CNN that's the dummy of the week.
The headline reads, 3 people died and 1 is permanently blind after drinking hand sanitizer in New Mexico.
For once, it's not Florida.
Right?
This better not have been Caleb's family.
3 people died and 1 is permanently blind from methanol poisoning after drinking hand sanitizer in New Mexico, health officials said. An additional 3 people are in critical condition, according to the New Mexico Department of Health. It said all 7 people drank hand sanitizer containing methanol. The cases were reported to New Mexico Poison Control over several weeks in May and are related to alcoholism. Health officials said they did not provide additional details of the victims and where the incidents happened. Some people have been known to use hand sanitizer to get intoxicated due to its alcohol content. Before the pandemic, hand sanitizer was banned in most prisons based on fears that the inmates would drink it or use it to start fires. But the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention have recommended that facilities consider relaxing restrictions on alcohol-based sanitizers to help combat coronavirus. This week, the Food and Drug Administration urged people not to use hand sanitizer products manufactured by SK Biochemistries
Close enough.
SA due to the potential presence of a toxic chemical. Federal officials discovered methanol, which can be toxic when absorbed through the skin and or ingested. In samples of hand sanitizer produced by the Mexican company, it's unclear whether the victims in New Mexico used the same type of hand sanitizer. Exposure to significant amounts of methanol can relate to nausea, vomiting, headache, blurred vision, permanent blindness, seizures, coma, permanent damage to the nerve system, or death. If you think you may have consumed hand sanitizer containing methanol, please seek medical attention. New Mexico Health Secretary Kathy Kuhnel said in a statement, an antidote to methanol poisoning is available, but the earlier someone gets the treatment for methanol poisoning, the better chances of recovery. End of article.
Wow.
So are they referring to consumption as using it on your hands too, or
No, like actually, like
Hands
I know-
and
Balls
drinking it because it said it could be absorbed through skin contact.
well,
yeah,
it's supposed to. You're supposed to rub it into your hand.
yeah. But if they're mistakenly putting methanol, you don't. Hand sanitizer's not supposed to have methanol. In it.
No, it's not.
No.
But it's a Mexican company that's making this stuff.
Well,
So-
here's my question: did the FDA actually authorize this product to begin with, like they do so many other things?
That's a good question.
Right here in the article, J-Dub, it says, which can be toxic when absorbed through skin or ingested. So either way, it can be toxic.
So why is this? Why did the FDA even approve this to begin with? If that's the case,
Probably the same reason the FAA signed off on the 737 Supermax or whatever it was.
All I can say is,
Just saying.
I suspect that the FDA probably doesn't know that this company was putting methanol in their fucking hand sanitizer. Excuse my language. Inside their hand sanitizer.
Boop.
Way to mess
like
it up, Randy.
that's
Thank you.
that's shocking.
Yeah.
it's not going to save you or protect you from the COVID-19 coronavirus by drinking it. You're more likely to get permanent damage or die.
It's supposed
Well,
to
they're-
clear
You know what?
insides.
These are just these libtards that don't know any better that are like, oh, President Trump said inject bleach or hand sanitizer.
No, he did not.
He did not say that.
You give me
But if,
gum.
by all means, if you're that dumb to do it, stupid should hurt, in my
It
opinion.
should.
Darwinism.
Absolutely. I mean, if they want to give it to folks in prison, for them to consume or whatever.
I'll just hang on to my ethyl alcohol.
There you go.
I mean, it's a funny thing because at my work we have little bottles of hand sanitizers, and they actually have a skull and crossbones on the side saying "Do not drink," and I'm just like, why would?
Again, they have to make signs
Because
because somebody's actually done it.
This is why I'm a firm believer.
That's why we used
in-
to have our signs and headlines.
Yes. I'm also a very firm believer in removing the warning labels off of everything. Just take it all off of everything
Let natural selection
and
take
let
its
natural selection take its course.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because-
well,
Hey, this
I mean-
beach smells pretty. It smells like fruit. I should drink this.
Well, guess what? There's one more knucklehead taken out of the gene pool.
Hey, I think I should try eating Tide Pods. Tide Pods sound pretty tasty.
Or snorting condoms,
so,
whichever it may be.
so no joke. Speaking of Tide Pods, I was up at the Albertsons here not too long ago. I think I sent you guys a picture, but
Yeah.
they actually have the Tide Pods under lock and key now in a cabinet up front.
Uh-huh.
Was it in the
Yep.
dessert aisle?
They're more of an
I'm
appetizer,
not
no?
shocked by that one iota, and that is really sad.
Right. So, all right, guys. Well, it is 7:25 out here on the West Coast, so we need to get ready to wrap this up for the night. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start making our way around. And first on the list, the Dappa Sappa. Mariah's
Safety
over here
brief
like,
time?
really?
Safety brief?
Yep. It's time for...
Gosh, Randy.
Hey, it's not his fault. I was coaching him on the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
Fair enough. Fair
All
enough.
right, safety brief, guys. Don't beat your wives. Don't beat your husbands. Don't beat your children. Don't drink hand sanitizer. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
Latex saves paychecks if you're under a new round of coronavirus lockdowns. Also, latex also saves you from raising a little Antifa jerk later on down the road, too. So do us all a favor and don't raise any more entitled white kids that are raging out in the name of, Black Lives Matter. Yep. Don't do drugs. Stay classy. And
You stay classy, Prime Tucky.
don't be a dummy and go on her tummy.
Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool. Mariah, what do you got?
I want to say have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the nice weather while it's out and about. Next weekend is the 4th of July, so if you're going to be doing any fireworks or anything, be safe about it and be smart about it, and keep your young kids or anything safe. And make sure you also watch out and take care of your pets as well, because I know a lot of animals get really afraid this time of year, so make sure you watch out for them. Other than that, have a good one.
Alrighty. High Tech, what do you got, brother?
Don't drink hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer. Do you eat toilet paper?
Some people probably do.
I'm just saying, these are things that you should know that you should not do. If you are not smart enough to not do said things, well, bye-bye.
Well, stupid should hurt.
It should. It should. No, everybody, we wish everybody a wonderful, happy Independence Day here coming up next weekend, or this coming weekend. Programming note, we will not have a show on July 5th.
Thank you.
Sunday.
I was going to mention that here.
I'm sure you were. We'll be recreating outdoors ourselves.
By God.
And having a good time. So we hope all the rest of you do too. And you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you here in a couple weeks.
All right, Ray, you got anything?
Same as always. Don't be dumb. Stay smart. Stay safe, but have fun this next weekend. That's all I really have to say.
There you go.
And enjoy your week.
So how's running the board for the first time?
A little nerve-wracking, but it's got a little bit better along as the show progressed. So
you got a good coach over there. Just saying. He's been at it a while.
And Myrna says, and listen to BB Nation.
Obviously.
Well,
I like the way she thinks.
Indeed. So, anyway, guys, do greatly appreciate you all tuning in this week. Remember to share the show out while you still can. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to our sponsors over at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. Again, for all your shooting, reloading, and tactical needs, whatever it may be, whether shopping in store up out of Sandy, Oregon, or shopping online, be sure to help our friends up at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. I will talk to you guys on Tuesday night for the Fence Line Country over there on the Spreaker side of the house. Just look us up by checking out Backwoods Veterans Media over there on the Spreaker app, and we will talk to you guys then. In the meantime, we will see you guys in 2 weeks as we enjoy our holiday weekend. So have a great and safe Independence Day, everybody. Happy birthday, America. We'll catch you all later. Have a good one. Bye.
This has been another episode of BB Nation Radio here on Backwoods Veterans Media.